coils on this. Alright, so intake manifold's got to come off to get these front 3, back 3. 2 over there is easy to get to. Air filter housing right here comes out. Little push pin right here comes up. 8mm, this comes out. So that was just the start of it. So I'm going to take this breather hose off. Give me some more room. Put it out of the way. Start disconnecting these little connectors. This one is a lot easier than some of the other 3.6. A lot more room. I love these little picks. You can get all kinds of stuff out. Disconnect your vacuum line to the throttle body. Move out of the way. Got that one back in the back too. Sure you guys can see everything. It's the one for the brake booster. That. Alright, so you're gonna have, sorry for the air noise, I like my fan. Alright, so there's a 10mm here, another one right back here, my fingers are at, 10 here, 10 here. I'm gonna get these off with ratcheting 10mm. Same thing with these. Then this bracket will need to come out. I usually bend these brackets out because these things have studs on them and you're not going to be able to lift it straight up. So I'll bend the bracket out and that way this can come out and out of the way. And then bend the bracket back and you put the 10s back on. And then these here are going to be 8s. Quite a few of them all over here. And then this whole thing will lift right up and then we can get to the coils and such. Right now I'm going to put it on pause. Alright, I love these little 10mm ratcheting wrenches, swivel like this, get in all kinds of curious little areas. There's one especially on a Nissan where there's a 12mm back in the back that can't get a socket on it, can't get a regular ratchet or wrench on it. You actually have to have this swivel in order to get to it because otherwise the firewall hits it in both directions. Really piss ass design. Well, what are you gonna do? I'll sit 2 10s back here for the bracket. Back here. This one here you don't have to worry about taking off the bottom of the bracket because it'll slide out once we bend the other ones. I mean, you can if you want. There are 2 13mm down there for the bracket side, but like I said, I don't bother doing that. I just bend them out of the way. He said, "This is me. You can do as you want. It's your car." And then I just bend them back when I go back on. So now I've got 8s. These should not come out of the housing, but sometimes they do. Right out. Otherwise, you'd have to take off one or both of the brackets in order to be able to get it past that housing area. So when replacing these spark plugs, you do want to replace your intake manifold gaskets, because you see how oily they get. They do not like to work very well once the new ones are on there. All right, spark plugs, 10s. I'm not even going to disconnect these, so I don't have an opportunity to break in those connectors. So 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 all the way around. This will be the same procedure too if you're replacing this. Very, very common to leak. Except for here, disconnect this fuel line if you want. You can usually swing it out of the way, but this one's an easy enough one to get to. And then these fasteners, this piece will lift up, disconnect your fuel injectors, the connector wise out of the way, move it up and out of the way. And then you can get to the bolts and stuff for underneath for doing that oil filter housing. So if you're doing an oil filter housing, prime time to do your spark plugs. These are going to be the same way. They should stay in the housing, but they can come all the way out if needed. Sorry, not going to be able to see back here. Clutzy. Little twisty action, looks like they're kind of stuck in there. Oh yeah, those are nice. This is gonna be a fun one. Let's see. Back together. Alright, so it looks like we will be disconnecting these. That's where I love this little pick. You can get underneath, take these things out, because these little plastic tabs love to break, especially when they're in the hottest part of the engine underneath the intake. Twisty to get these things out. 200,000 miles. Who knows? Maybe the first tune-up on this one. So, alright, so I'm going to show you the spark plugs on the front. Back is going to be the exact same. Once I get done with that part, show you for throttle body cleaning. Very, very simple as well. Alright, so we got... I want to pause it here. zip out the spark plugs, put the new ones in, make sure they're gapped correctly. Here's your spark plug, 9407. These are going to be iridium champions. That's an OEM to go back in. NGK will work. So NGK will work. They'll handle up to the heat as well, but if you're going to put them back in, put in the same ones that came out, your performance will be the exact same. If you put different ones in, performance could be different. Alright, back shortly. Alright, new coils, new plugs in. Customer provided their own coils, plugs. Mental note: if you watch the customer drop the spark plugs, check the gap. 2 of them were below gap specs. Be careful on the platinum plugs though. You don't want to be real forceful with trying to gap them, because you don't want to erode off too much of that electrode on the bottom of the plug. So just be careful when you gap those. These are specifically 0.43 gap. So here we're going to replace those gaskets, clean off this surface. See all this oil? That's why you want to replace those gaskets. Use a little pick, take them out, no problem. Rest of the trash, wipe that off. So we'll install new ones. For right now, I'm going to do this throttle body. This one is called a fly-by-wire. There's no cable on it, so it's all electronically controlled, which most of them are done nowadays anyways. So 8mm, 4, it'll come off. Turn your gasket on, and then on top of that, you will clean out the inside. A whole lot easier to do this with the intake off, but you can do it with the intake on. It's all the same. That's the gasket you're going to be replacing. It's not too bad at all. So same thing. The pick. Take it right out. So now I need carb throttle body cleaner. Go over here. This stuff's pretty corrosive. Try not to get it on your hands if possible. You will start burning. You can use an old toothbrush to clean this thing out. And be careful with this motor too. You don't want to force it open all that much. I'm gonna use a rag, get in there, get as much of that nasty off. I've seen people use toothbrushes. Wire brush is okay, but you don't want to be real abrasive with it, because there's a very, very fine tolerance between this blade and the outside of the throttle body. And in doing so, you will mess up that gap. And then you'll be in a world of hurt. Why is this car doing this? Because you made the gap bigger than what it's supposed to be. So, just beware of that little tidbit. Wire brush you can use will be the, what is it? Non-abrasive. I'm not sure if it's a copper brush or a brass. One of those two should work pretty well though. But this rag works just the same. Just gotta put some more elbow grease in it. You don't really need to replace or clean your throttle body too much. There's not many fuels out there that leave a whole lot of contaminant anymore like what it used to in the olden days. This thing has 200,000 miles on it, so it's never been done, which is perfectly fine to do it. There we go. Nice and clean. Alright, slap new gasket on, slap intake gaskets on, and we'll go back together. Nothing special to this, no real orientation to it, just put it in. This will have nodule here, so you can't really put this on backwards either. I'm sure someone might try some point in time. Seen stranger things happen. Going nice and snug. Don't need to be stupid tight or anything. Just plastic. Same thing will be for putting intake on. Doesn't need to be stupid tight, just snug. Now, this set has two different types of gaskets, so it looks like it's from older and newer year. We have the older set. Actually, no, sorry. Those are going to be for the underneath of this for when this thing comes off. But we are not taking it off. We are doing all up top stuff. Don't need to put any kind of lubrication or anything on here. Not required. Alright, good deal. Put a little valence back on. Doesn't do much damn good. Studs for the back piece, so when it slides in, and oh yeah, sorry about that. Make sure these get pushed up in the upright position so that way when we put it on, it lines up fine. shifters. Big vacuum hose in the back. Map sensor. That's all. Now we gotta play with this. All right. Took a little extra persuasion to get this front two on. So these are basically support brackets for the intake. In case there's any kind of undue stress or load or whatever like that, the engine itself puts forth. Not stupid, critical, needed, but put it back the way it's supposed to go. That one. Butterfingers. Glove's coming apart from that carb cleaner. Yes, it will definitely eat up latex. These little wrenches get in all kinds of stupid places with no problem. Alright, map sensor, throttle body plugged up. That's for the intake. That plug. This go here. PCB system. Put that and we'll get that over here. Throttle body housing, there's no clamps on that. That's what this little push pin's for. And this little 10, or 8, sorry, it's right there. That lines up. Pushed in right there. That goes there. Tighten this one up. And PCB system right there, just like that. All right, any questions, comments, please let me know.